Hi, so in this short video I'm going to show you how to get started on the Pathname lab, including how to use the port forwarding script created by Eric to access the software that's running inside of Deter, which will make it a lot easier for you to work on this and some of the following labs. So the first thing you need to do is get logged into the legacy Deter, and I'm going to use my student account so you can see what the student view looks like. Once you get logged in, click on My Classes and then click on Pathname Attacks. That's the lab we're going to talk about. But in future labs, you can click on SQL injection or cross-site scripting to do similar things. Then go to launch.mod.deterlab.login and log in with the same account. And when you get to this point, click on XDCs. Open your Jupyter Lab XDC, open your terminal, and I'm going to assume that you've already followed the intro to Deter instructions that resulted in you creating this pass.txt and also adding the path to the start lab and start experiment, run lab and start experiment instructions. So that means we can just do su-your username. And the first thing you need to do is start the experiment in question, which in this case is Pathname. So we're going to do that, and it's going to take a few minutes for that to complete. Sometimes merge doesn't tell you when it's finished, so you can always hit enter to see if it's done. And once it is done, you'll get a prompt back. All right. Once it's finished, then you type run lab, Pathname. And what run lab does is it installs and configures all the software for the experiment, for the project that you're going to do. So you'll see a bunch of different installation scripts happen. And similarly, by the time it gets to the end, you don't always see a prompt. So you can always hit enter again to see if it's finished and if you get a prompt back. All right, so we're done. We have our terminal back. And what that means is that the experiment is running, including the machines that have the software that you need. And for this lab, the machine is called Pathname. So you can type SSH Pathname, and when you hit enter, you'll be logged into it, and you'll see that the prompt down here shows that Pathname is running. And on this machine is running the memo software described over here in the lab manual that you'll be able to read about. But the easiest way for us to access it in a way that is going to be helpful to you is through something called port forwarding. And what port forwarding does is it allows you to access things locally that exist behind a firewall. It's sort of like a really simple VPN. So we're going to kind of VPN into the merge testbed so that we can access the things running on the Pathname node. Okay, so in order to set that up, we're going to use Eric's port forwarding script. And so I'm going to log out of the Pathname node for a second. Now, if you've already got port forwarding going, you don't need to do this again. You only need to do this the one time. And so I'm going to set it up right now. So I'm going to click Upload. That's the Upload button here. And choose the port forward setup script that Eric sent to us. And you see that it appears there. But if I try to run it, it says permission denied. So if I look at the permissions, I see the script here is owned by root, and it's readable but not executable. So I'm going to change mod it. It's owned by root, so I need to use sudo change mod user group other plus x port forward setup. So now, if you look at it, you can see it's executable by everybody. So I'm going to run port forward setup. And it's going to do some stuff. All right, and it's made a zip file. Port forward data.zip, there it is. So now I want to download this, and I'm going to download it. I'm going to download it to the same place that I had the port forwarding script, which is in my temp directory, which is full of a lot of random junk. Port forward, so I'm going to save it here. Alright, so now I'm going to open a terminal, and there's that zip file. So the first thing I need to do is unzip it. And I'm doing this in Linux. If you're doing this in Windows or Apple, you'll want to follow those instructions, of course. And now, let's check the permissions. Port forward Unix is already executable for me, so that's great. I don't need to change the permissions. So I run port forward Unix. So it's done. Okay, so what this has done is it's made a configuration to my SSH so that I can easily connect to my XDC. So this allows me to do something like this. And now I'm actually logged into my XDC from a terminal on my desktop. That's pretty cool, right? So maybe that's easier than using the web, okay? I'm going to log back out because what we're really going to talk about today is port forwarding. So over here in the XDC, if I SSH to Pathname again, now I'm on the Pathname machine, and the lab manual will tell you about the memo program, which is this program that displays memos for the company, and it has some flaws. Okay, so the lab manual will tell you that the code is in user lib CGI bin, and the program is called memo.pl. And this program is going to show memos that the user selects. But we want to be able to interact with it like a regular program. So the easiest way to do that is to set up port forwarding so that we can do it from our local browser. So to do that, I'm going to do SSH again, but I'll do -L, and now I need to name a local port that's not in use, and we're going to use 8080, which usually works. And then we're going to specify the machine we want to go to from our XDC, which is Pathname. So we want to view things on Pathname that are running at port 80 on Pathname. So Pathname 80 is the web server on Pathname, and we want to make that appear as if it is my local address 8080. But to do that, I can't see Pathname from my home machine. I need to be to my XDC. So I'm going to specify my XDC just like this. So what's going to happen is we're going to SSH into the XDC from home, and we're going to set, we want to get to Pathname 80, and we're going to set the local port number 8080. So if I do this and hit enter, whoops, I had a typo. There's 3 C's there. Alright, so now we're connected. And if I go here to the memo distribution website and I choose a memo and I hit read memo, you see that I can choose different memos in my browser. And if you look up here in the URL, it says I'm going to localhost 8080, but really these things are at Pathname 80 inside of merge, and the script is memo.cgi, and the parameters that are being sent are here. Okay, and so this is how old-fashioned programs like this got parameters, and many websites still do this. They're getting the parameters in the URL. And so if you use port forwarding, then you can actually interact with the script as it's running. And as you try to figure out how to get this program to display files it shouldn't be able to display, you should be able to see those files just as if you were attacking a real system. And when you fix it, you should also see that it is fixed and no longer has a vulnerability. And of course, if you get any errors, then you'll see those errors as well. All right, so I just wanted to show you how to set up port forwarding and what it looks like if you're accessing the memo script correctly. And that's about it. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to stop exp pathname when you're done to release your resources back, but not until you've saved your files, of course. All right, thank you so much. That's it.